What's up, brisket fans? Welcome back to Patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Rum and Cook. Today on the channel, we're tackling something that I haven't shown you yet. It's been over a year. It's been 60 videos, and I haven't shown you guys brisket yet. Now, to be fair, I don't do that many briskets. In fact, this is probably like my 12th brisket. Don't take away my barbecue club card. I'm still a member of the club. I do lots of other things. I just don't do very many briskets. Right? There's only 2 of us. Usually I'll do a brisket when we're having a party or something like that. It's not something I'm going to do for the 2 of us very often, but I did want to take a video of it, and I'm going to take it into work for the guys tomorrow, so it works out great. Now, there's one other reason why I got to step on my brisket game here. What I haven't told you guys yet is about 4 months ago, I pulled the trigger on my first stick burner, ordered myself an offset smoker, went with a Workhorse 1975. It will be here in about 2.5 months. So over here, we're gonna kind of shift things over where my umbrella is now. We're gonna put the offset there, and we're gonna learn about offset cooking. Be very interesting. I've never even remotely tried it before, so I'm definitely a little nervous, very excited about it, and looking forward to learning what it's all about. But let's get back to my brisket. Now, just like a kid at Christmas time where you know where the gifts are, but you just don't look, I haven't even looked at my brisket yet. So where are we at? Yesterday, I went to Costco. In the morning, I picked up about a 16.5 pound brisket, prime, threw it in the fridge, hung out with the wife last night. Before I went to bed around midnight, I carved it all up. Now this one had a very thick fat cap on it, so we took that off. And I'm not going to go into a full trim video. There's lots of videos about trimming out there, and I'm just not qualified. So we took all the silver skin off the top, took down the fat cap, went pretty aggressive on it, and then once I was happy with the way it looked, took some Lea and Perrins, some Worcestershire sauce, and we rubbed that all over it. And I took some Killer Hogs Texas brisket rub, and we sprinkled a heavy coating on that. We did both sides, and then I put it fat cap up, finished off that side, and then we threw it in the fridge for a couple hours. Now, 2:15 this morning, I wake back up, I come out, we set up the Yoder. I set it for 225. We talked about this before. If you're gonna use a pellet grill and you wanna get maximum amount of smoke into it, you've gotta go low and slow. So we set it to 225. Actually, I only waited about 15 minutes and I threw it on. I have not looked at it since. It's been almost 9 hours. So I have not looked at it. We're using this Bear Mountain Gourmet blend today and trying it out. I've got all kinds of different pellet brands. I told you guys before I was working on a video where I took 6 different brands of pellets and we did a cook-off. We have now done that. It's a lot of editing to do, so it's going to be out soon, but the results were very, very interesting. One of the biggest takeaways for me is just kind of sitting there looking at my stack and watching the different brands and how much smoke came out. It was really eye-opening. In addition to that, when you looked at the pit, how stable it was, there was a big difference in pellets. Now, the one thing I'll tell you about this guy, and I'll show you the graph up here, this guy is rock solid when it comes to, the temperature swings. There's very little deviation in that, so that was very interesting. But let's let our plane fly over, and what we're gonna do is let's take a look at our brisket for the first time. I'm excited to see what it looks like. And she looks pretty good. And pretty moist down here. We got a little bit of a pool on the back side of it. So I'm just gonna dump that out real quick. It's a little dry on the top. That's to be expected, right? We haven't sprayed this at all. Now my probe is saying 179. But it's not in all the way. We're actually saying 160. I was a little nervous about that when I saw the temperature. And it goes in like butter right now. 164, 165. So we're really good here. We're in perfect temperature to wrap, and man, that flat feels good. Now the one thing about this is it's got a really thick flat. So Really interested to see how it turns out. Oof, whole bunch of juice coming out of that guy. So we're definitely ready to wrap it. Let's get our table set up here. I've just got some pink butcher's paper. Now, this guy obviously has not been sprayed all night, so I am going to put a little bit of tallow underneath of it. Not a ton. Let's give this guy a wrap. And we're also going to give this a good spray. And the big thing when you wrap with these guys, you want to make sure you get it nice and tight. And we're going to make sure that we go fat cap up again. So that's going to leave us like this. And what we'll do is we'll just tuck this underneath. We can sit on there, tuck all the edges down. Now, we're wrapping this nice and tight because we don't want it to steam. And we're just going to throw it back on. Now that we got it on, we'll put our probes back in here. And I've just got a probe in the point and in the flat just so we can kind of keep an eye on it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dial this up to 250. I want it to cook a little quicker. It's around 11. So what I want to do is this is going to take a few more hours, and I do want to have time to rest it. So we're going to let this rest for a couple hours once it's done. But what I want to do now is I just want to speed it up a little bit. So we'll dial this up to 250. And it's at 260, close enough. And now we're just going to monitor our temperature. Right around that 202 mark is when I'm going to come out and I'm going to start to look at it. I'm going to probe for tenderness a little bit. But like I said, we're probably going to be 203, 204. I'll bring you back when we get closer. It's been 3 hours. We're actually a little bit more cooked than I would like. I'm a little nervous. We're actually at 208. I was out front putting up Halloween decorations and I missed my phone. So we're going to probe around here and see where we're at. I'm going to get through the butcher paper. Oh, there we go. I mean, you can see 208, 207, 210 in the flat. So we're hot. So what does that mean? Let's get this guy off. Ooh. Let's get some gloves to get that off first. Put this here. So what does that mean for our brisket? Well, more than likely, when I cut it up and we do our hang test, it's just going to pull apart too far, right? Like you want it to dangle under its own weight. It should still taste fine, but we're definitely not going to get the pull that we want. And you know, that's kind of the signature briskets cooked perfect. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to wrap this in a towel and I'm just going to let it rest at room temperature. I'm going to put it in a cooler for about 2 hours and just let it come down in temperature, let the juices redistribute, and then we'll carve it up and we'll see how we did. It's been an hour and a half. I want to show you what we did here. First, I put it on a wire rack, right? Want to be able to let the air circulate around it. And I did put it in some tin foil, but I left it wide open. And I just just to hold a little bit of heat in there. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull this off here, get it off the rack. And we're gonna open her up. Should put 2 gloves on. All right, there we go. It's got some good jiggle to it. Let's have a look at how we did. So if you didn't notice in the little trimming video there, it's definitely falling apart, right? We can't pick it up under its own weight. So what does that mean? It means we overcooked it, right? We knew that, but flavor-wise, it's on point. Actually, it is quite good. You can see, that's not a good example. Cool down a little bit. Let me get one of these pieces back here. Right, you can see a really nice smoke ring here. On both the flat and now the point is where it really shows. Like, look, that's a picture perfect smoke ring. It's got some great flavor. It got some good smoke penetration into it, but Halloween got in the way and we overcooked it. So what did we learn here? The point, no pun intended, the point and where your brisket is done gets up to a point and it falls off like a cliff, right? So it's only a few degrees, but as soon as you go beyond that, your brisket is gonna come and fall apart. It's gonna be more like roast beef. Is the flavor gonna be there? Absolutely. It's got some good smoke flavor to it. Really happy with it, with the taste of it. The texture gets a little mushy because it starts to fall apart, but I'll tell you what you do in this situation, right? We're gonna learn something here. All you do is you get yourself some Kaiser rolls, you toast them in the oven, you get yourself some cheese, cheddar cheese, whatever, throw it on top, break it up and make some sandwiches, and I guarantee you it's delicious. So, unfortunately, for the first brisket on the channel, it didn't end with a success, but it is what it is. Not all of your cooks are gonna be amazing, right? So what you gotta do is you gotta learn from every single cook, and we'll do another one soon. Thanks as always for watching. Normally I'd ask for a thumbs up, but this is gonna get some thumbs down. That's okay, I expect that. But hopefully, you know, I wanted to share the video with you, even though it's a failure, so that you can learn as I'm learning. You can't always have successful cooks, but I guarantee you if you turn this into some beef and cheddar sandwiches, it's gonna be a hit. That's what I'm gonna do for dinner tonight. Thanks as always for watching. Check out some of these videos down here. Appreciate your support. I'll see you soon.